Good morning. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. I hope you had a great holiday. Here we are. It's Thursday, 2 sessions before the weekend, 4 sessions before the end of 2013. A year that's been an epic year for the equity indices across the world, mostly here. I think the S&P's up maybe 28%. Nasdaq's up more than that. We've had sector rotation. We've had breakouts. Depending on whatever time frame you trade, you could be sitting in core longs. You could have been tactically looking for cash flow, buying leaders, whatever you wanted to do. This was one of those years that you could have got it done. And hopefully you participated. Hopefully you participated with us. So as we go into these last few sessions, there's really not that much to do. I think some traders will try and stay with positions that they own and maybe trade around them or put stops in to see if the trade changes and look for some small tactical setups. So for me, this is my last day in the NYC office. I'll be traveling into the new year, but I will be checking in from time to time. So I'm going to also probably be maneuvering like you guys remotely. So with that being said, you look at the overall chart of the SPX, you will see that we have a trend here. You have it since November, where this macro trend, if you've been sitting in it, got tested a few times, but recently hasn't even come close. During this year, you've had 3 different, I would say short-term top type patterns that led to nothing, all buyable areas that went again. And then more recently, if you were trading for P&L and alpha, you had the Fed meeting on that day. We tested the 50-day, engulfed it, major outside day, and then we've had 4 up days since. With that being said, we're a bit extended from the 8 days, so we don't know if we're going to just continue to grind higher into the year end, or do they shake things up a little bit. With that being said, futures are up this morning. Know where 1833 is. We happen to go red today. That is Tuesday's high, and then I would say, as long as the market stays and we stay above this area, just say like this 1820, 1823, I think that we could see the same type of action into year end. With that being said, I think something that I'm going to be looking at some traders, can we get a little bit more upside follow through in some of the banks? Banks ignited last week and since have been consolidating pretty well. You look at something like Goldman Sachs real quickly, it had a nice breakout above this 172, still looks okay. I think if it stays above, this flag type area, it could extend through this 176.69. I know a lot of us are watching Bank of America. Stock gave us a really nice trade, way back here, when it ignited. You had to move to 16, couldn't get through it. Then it ignited last week, and it's been hovering really well. I think if it starts getting above 1587 with some volume, perhaps we get that trade into year end. You look at something like Citigroup, Citi also, trying to hover. You look at the size of this resistance that it hasn't come, since May it hasn't made a new high. So this has been lagging. Some think it could play catch up into the new year. As of right now, longer it stays above 52, the higher, the probability is it takes out this recent pivot here of 52.64, and then at some point, maybe that area. There are other banks you could look at, but those are the ones that we're focusing on right here. In high beta tech, they keep taking turns. At this point, not many setups in your Google or your Netflix that act okay or act actually really well, just they're not that tight right now. But you could see something maybe in Apple or Amazon. First, you go to Apple. That China mobile news came out and it acted very well. This stock's been giving us multiple opportunities to be long ever since this double bottom here over the summer. Really nice. It's been trending up since. Nice add-on buy right there. Nice add-on buy right there. And then here we are flagging. I would say most traders are going to stay long. If we could continue to hold above 562, maybe they try and fill the gap a little bit and come back up, or they make it nice and easy, and within the next session or so we hold this gap and then start taking out 571 and then 575. If we get a trade and close above 575, I think 600 could happen pretty quick. And if you take a quick look at Amazon, this is also, one of those stocks that just continues to go higher. On Friday, or Tuesday, sorry, it felt like a Friday, pre-Christmas Eve, looked like it was going to take out the 8-day. It didn't. The longer it stays above the 8-day, perhaps it can continue. I mentioned to you Google, what a great stock since earnings last quarter. It too has just been stair-stepping higher. So with that said, we're getting into the area of the market when you're up 4 days through prior highs in the S&P. There's not many tight setups anymore. We love tight setups. So if you happen to miss a setup, just don't start shorting it because you feel like you sold early. Social media we've been on top of for most of the year. And recently, Twitter, has gone somewhat parabolic. I know for me, a little frustrating because, I tried talking about being long this many times, and I was, but I just didn't hold as long as I would have liked to. This was one pivot at 42, another pivot right here. This is when it took out the prior high of 45, and actually now 50.39. And then, we talked about buying the 8-day. This is when I got long, and this is when I sold it. And now look at it. So with that being said, I think some people are caught in a pain trade. Okay, because they say, oh my goodness, doesn't even have, earnings yet. No one knows really what's going on. How could it go up? You know what? New issues are about supply and demand in the first few months, not about valuations and PE. So with that being said, it's opening up at another high. If you're trying to be cute, make sure you do a level versus a level. I tried on Friday, lost a little, but I think I got done trading that thing around, 67, 68, and now it's above 71. So you could always lose less. So today, if you're trying that again, let it put a pivot high in, maybe short verse out. If it happens to trade back below 70.97, maybe you get a small, day and a half trade to the downside, and then hopefully it reflags and goes again. So with that being said, just watch what you're doing there, especially into year end. No reason to make it overly complicated. You look at Facebook, great stock since 2 quarters ago, that earnings gap, corrected, red dog reversal, held with that whole offering in front of it, and now new highs. So with that being said, that's something that's not as extended, but there's still opportunities. So with that said, with 4 sessions left, don't try and overdo it. Don't try and frustrate what's been a really nice year. And if you had a frustrated year, don't go into the end of the year even that much more frustrated, because then you'll come into 2014, still frustrated. And life's too short to be so frustrated, especially when you have indices making new highs, you have people making a lot of money across the board. If you have macro investments out there, they're on the move, and hopefully you have a good cost average. If you've been playing the trends have been strong. If you've been looking for tactical plays, there's been plenty of those. So enjoy yourself now. All right, see what you want to do the next few sessions, but my advice to you is just manage some positions you have. If you have some setups that could still go, maybe do them with a little less size because volume will be lower. And just enjoy yourself. It's holiday time. Recharge those batteries, get yourself feeling good again, because 2014, I'm sure, we're going to have a lot of action once again, and obviously the action's always different. And if you're looking for a thesis, we've been putting one together for you. Hopefully you've looked at some of the videos that we did with John Darcy, the editor-in-chief. We've been going through a series of 8 that you could watch and learn from that could help give you some, some thoughts within, or look into my mind on why I come up with certain strategies and scenarios, which, you could pre-order and it'll be out soon. So with that said, hopefully everyone's doing well. You enjoyed the holiday today. Not sure what type of session we'll have, but it is a full day. I'm sure volume will be light. There'll be there'll be action probably focused that we could probably try and find. But if you don't, just take it easy and go into the weekend happy, and have a happy and healthy new year. I will be back on video come next week. You could probably get me from time to time as I'll be checking in, because I'm not leaving the country. Just won't be in New York City with the studio. Have a great one. It's been a great year. Thanks for being with me. Love a strong community, and we're only getting stronger. Have a good one.